Hey folks, I just wanted to check in today and do a little story time with you all. There has been a couple of videos that I already posted talking about like experiencing stage fright. So I want to kind of tell you a little bit about how I overcame it, where it stemmed from, and all of that good stuff. All right. So, as I mentioned in my introduction video, I've been singing since I was 6 years old. And even when I started doing solos then, I was still extremely nervous, of course. And initially, when you're singing, being in front of people for the first time can be quite scary. But as I continued to sing, I noticed it didn't go away. So I would still get super nervous. So my dad would tell me, okay, you're going to do a solo this week. And I would get up there still nervous. Sometimes I would dread singing. I would, of course, prepare. But beforehand, I would dread getting up there. And as the day got closer, I would get more nervous and everything. And then all throughout, like my younger years, even when I started taking voice lessons, I still was nervous. And I'm naturally not a person that likes to be in front of people. I'm kind of like shy, quiet behind the scenes. So when I'm singing in front of people, it's like people are staring at me. And as I got older, I was like, well, what do people think about my voice? I continued singing, got older. I wanted gratification from other people. So when people didn't tell me I did a good job, I would beat myself up over it. If I didn't get a good response from people, I would tell myself that I'm not going to sing anymore. So this would happen all throughout maybe 10 and up. I just seemed like my nerves got even worse and it wasn't getting any better, even though I was still singing. And then I got into high school and I was in show choir, concert choir, and sometimes the choir director would ask me to audition or try out for like solos, and I would be so nervous and so shy, and then I would get upset about it when I didn't get the part, because I knew my potential, and I know when I'm singing in a room by myself what I can do. But when it came for audition time, I would kind of pull back and be shy. And, I really didn't get a lot of solos in high school. So let's forward to college. Okay, so I still want to sing. I still love music. So I said, you know what? I love this. This is what I really want to do. So I decided to still go to college for music and got my degree in music with a focus in vocal performance. And all throughout college, it was the same thing. If recital come around, I would dread it. I was known as the girl with the right leg that would shake all the time. And it was just, it was a lot. And then when you're getting in college, you're dealing with more criticism, more competition. And every time someone gave me a negative feedback, I would beat myself up. But one thing I did work on it and I did improve. So once again, and once I did a recital, if nobody told me good job or you did great, I just felt like I wasn't good enough. I just felt like, okay, I don't belong here. I felt like, okay, my voice is just average. There's nothing special about it. And when, that once again, I really didn't sing at all other than doing recitals. So, of course, there's things outside of school. I remember there was a time when there was like a musical production and I kind of wanted to do it, but then I kind of shied back and I was just like, no, because my voice is average. So all throughout college, I just felt like, okay, people aren't giving me enough praise, so my voice is just average. There's nothing unique about my voice. And keep in mind, I was classically trained, so a lot of what I was doing in my training was singing classical music. By my junior year, I continued to improve, and now I was getting gratification, like, oh wow, you're a great classical singer. The teachers would give me praise, and that began to boost my self-esteem. However, when I sung in just my straight voice, not classical tone, I was still considered average. I remember I started to build confidence singing classically. So I was like, okay, I can sing in my straight tone now after like already being in college for about 2 years. And I started to lead worship, or became a part of the worship team and everything, and would do solos there. But once again, I was worried about my voice, and I was like, okay, I have a great classical voice. And people would tell me that, oh, you have a great classical voice, but I think your straight singing voice is average. Like, I don't think it's that good. So once again, I'm like, okay, well, I can just sing classically, and that's what I'm going to focus on. So for a very long time, I just stopped singing gospel. And even though that's what I was raised on, I would only sing for recitals, or if I was doing something, it had to be classical. By my senior year, I now have confidence to sing places. My voice has been strengthened. I have a lot of power in my classical tone. I did really well on my senior recital, and people were so impressed and shocked. Once again, I'm this very shy, timid girl who has all this power, and they're like, where did all this sound come from? So by that time, I have experienced so much I would say verbal abuse from like my peers and everything. I was still discouraged. I was like, okay, I have a good classical tone, but I lost my passion in college along the way. Even though I have gained great skills and techniques that I use today for myself and that I give to my students as well, I was discouraged because I lost my passion for singing along the way. By the time I graduated, I said, I'm going to stop singing, because it was like, I don't love it anymore. And when you're classically trained, there's specific rules and guidelines. You don't have a lot of wiggle room to use your creativity. It's like what's on the sheet music is more so what you're going to sing. And I think doing that, kind of like had me lose my passion for music, because I like to create. I like to be creative when I sing. So not saying being classically trained is a bad thing, because once again, I will reiterate that I gained so many great techniques that I applied to my lessons, even to my voice now. And classical training does help you maintain the health of your voice. But for me, I would have liked to have a little bit more of a balance, where I could have done jazz or gospel. In the school where I was in, if I was a music major, I couldn't sing in the gospel choir because they felt like that was not the correct way to sing. So I didn't do a lot of jazz. I was a part of a jazz ensemble for a little bit. That was fun, but that wasn't my focal. They didn't have a jazz program. So I was focusing on classical all the time. And then remember, I was scared to do anything else, because after a while I started to get praise for my classical singing, but I wasn't getting a response for like me just singing regular R&B gospel. It's like, oh, your voice is all right. People will say that, or, just average, but you have a great classical voice or whatever. So then I shied back and I wasn't able to be creative. So after I graduated college, I said, I'm not singing anymore. I'm not going to pursue singing anymore. I'm going to move in another direction. So I ended up changing my field. I still have a degree in music performance, but I said I love helping people. So I started to more so move into social service work. I kind of worked my way up, started at the bottom, gained experience to the point where I became a program manager of the program. And I was good at it, but I was drained all the time. Like, one of that type of work, you have to be good at having balance And I didn't. I would take the work home with me. And for me, it was just like I cared so much. And I would think about it at night, how I can help, these people that are in need, homeless, or have mental health challenges. And I got to the point where it was affecting me mentally. And at that point, I still was pushing because I felt like the Lord was telling me that I needed to go back to singing and music. But I was just nervous. I was scared because I was like, well, Lord, I haven't done this for years now. I would say I was doing social service work for about, at that point, like 6 to 8 years. And at that time, I was like, well, I haven't really sung a lot. I would sometimes pick it up, and then, I wouldn't stick to it. But what kind of kept me connected to music was that I was teaching. I still was teaching voice lessons on and off on the side while I was working in the social service field. So that's kind of like what kept that spark alive in me. And as I continued to gain more students, the Lord was just like, you need to leave your social service job. Like, it's not for you. That's not what you were designed to do. Yes, you are good at it, but that's not what I called you to do. That is not your purpose. So I ended up leaving and began to pursue vocal coaching more full time. This means that I was able to create my own schedule because I was no longer working 9 to 5. This also meant that I was able to dive into finding my passion again for singing and music. I began to write a little bit, and I was just singing for fun. I wasn't performing anywhere or doing any gigs. It was just like me trying to find my love again. I started to work with a vocal coach because I felt like, okay, I think I need some motivation. So I did that, and as they continue to help me be creative and continue to show me ways that I can improve on my voice, since I haven't sung in a long time, and I start to gain more confidence. Now, I still was nervous about singing, but I would push myself to do memorial service, sing at church, and I felt like, okay, I can do this. So I was still nervous, but as I continued to sing at different events, my nerves would start going away. And people ask me, well, what did you do? How did your nerves go away? I prayed and I asked God. I was like, Lord, I found my passion again for singing, and I just do no longer want to be in fear or be nervous about singing in front of people, because you called me out. You took me out of my social service job and you put me here as a vocal coach, yes, but not only for that, but also to bless people with my voice. And it wasn't about me anymore. It was about what God had designed for me to do on this earth, and how I can be a vessel for Him, how He can use me to get His glory. And once I really understood that, reading scriptures and everything, I was like, okay, the fear just would drop off. I would prepare. Once I got up there, sometimes you can still get a little jitters, but I wasn't nervous. And the praise, whether I got accolades or good job or it didn't matter anymore to me, because I know I was doing God's will. And that's kind of the mindset that I have now when I do sing. I honestly haven't been singing a lot lately, because I've been focusing now on writing my own music. So I'm opening even more of my creative space. And I'm in a process. It's been a slow process. I'm in a process of finishing up my song, because I was write and I wouldn't complete it, because now I feel like the Lord is telling me that it's time for me to sing my own music versus covers. So I'm excited to have that completed and really share that with the world, and we'll see what happens. Who knows? I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just being obedient to the Lord. The song, my sister actually said she heard the chorus in a dream. So she gave me the chorus, and then the verses just came. And I was like, this is just like God ordained. So I've been focusing on writing, but I will get back to singing. And when I do, I'm definitely going to post it on this page. That will be coming soon as well. So that kind of gives you a little bit about my journey on experiencing stage fright and how I overcame it. And I sometimes feel like I wish I just continued to pursue singing. After I graduate, I'll be much further along. Imagine if I started right out of college, but I took a detour. And God always reminds me, you're right where you need to be, because I've learned the lesson. And, you know, now I really know who I am. If I didn't go through the journey of like figuring it out and God showing to me like this is your calling and your purpose, and sometimes he'll allow the detour so you can really figure out who you are. And a lot of people these days don't know who they are. They don't know what their purpose is or what they're called to do. And you really do have to like silence the noise, take some time out, and seek God's face, and he would begin to reveal it to you. And I'm just so blessed that he did reveal it to me, because I'm in such a better place. I have more peace, I have more joy, and I love that, you know, I can carve out more time to have self-care and to be present for like my community and my people. All of that still plays a part. So if you're one of those that are like, you know, oh, I'm so nervous about singing in front of people and I've struggled with this all my life, I don't think that I will overcome this, I would recommend that you really seek God's face. All right, so that's my story time. Yeah, so I will see you in the next video. Bye.